Ah, that's a water. That's a lot of water. Oh, baby. Something's wrong. I can feel it. Or something's good. I can feel it. As they often say. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Welcome. Welcome to the Prime Time with Phil channel. Welcome to Free Refill, episode number 46. Oh man, there's a lot to get into. There is so much to get into. First off, how about Team USA? Can we just, I know it's already gotten like politicized to hell already. Can we just give props to what was an amazing game of hockey between both the United States and Canada? I mean, there were a couple missed calls, obviously. Like you had Team USA with too many men on the ice at one point that didn't get called. There were a couple missed calls, no doubt. But I felt for the most part that was a fantastic game, just in general. I'm gonna have to put down my gain because I just realized it's a little too high. My bad on that. So right now that should be good. But come on. You had Connor Hellebuyck and Jordan Binnington. Oh my gosh. What a matchup between those two. Those goalies were incredible throughout the entirety of the game. Jack Hughes, who's been great throughout the entirety of the Olympics, making a huge save. Or not a huge save, huge clutch goal at the end. Oh my gosh, there's a lot to get into. It was early on, there was like a double doink, and I thought, man, if USA loses, because they'll be looking at that one too. Like this was an insane level hockey. Like Jack Hughes getting his teeth knocked out, the entirety of it was just amazing. And not on top of that, we got the entirety of the second half of the NBA season to look at. We got some NFL free agency stuff I want to get into. It's a good day to be on Prime Time, ladies and gentlemen. It is a good day. So very excited to have everyone here. Very excited to get rolling, get roaring, get into things, because there is a lot of big time things that I got to get covered. And I got to lead off, right? We gotta just lead into. Look at this. Look at that. Look at how happy he is, dude. Like he just looks like there's so many like young hockey kids who look exactly like this dude with his teeth knocked out, his hair a complete mess. But that's. So first, I want to talk just a little bit about that Olympic game. I know a lot has already been said about it. The first thing is that was amazing. Connor Hellebuyck, you've seen the picture. If you've seen the picture of Connor Hellebuyck making that save, I still can't believe it was saved. And the entirety of that game has given me a newfound respect for hockey goalies. Because, not that I didn't have respect for them, but there's now an additional level of respect, because that's insane. To be, especially for Connor, to have... I think it was the final shot was 42 shots for Canada, 28 for the United States. So we're talking Canada had 50% more shots to USA's. They had additional 14. And yet, Connor Hellebuyck was just making save after save in these huge spots. And there's also, outside of this, one of the storylines, it's not that it's not being covered, because it's definitely been talked about, but Nate McKinnon felt the need to run his mouth just a little too much after this game. He was saying, you look out, you point out who's the better team. You go ahead and point out to me who's the better team. And I'm going to tell you right now, Nate, you had as close as you're going to get to a goal ever in the Olympics. He is point blank. Hellebuyck is facing the left side of the goal. He's not even fully turned. And you have a open net. I'd say at least 40% of the net from that angle is open. You were a professional NHL player. You got to hit that. And if you don't hit that, fine. That happens. We've seen kickers miss kicks. We've seen quarterbacks miss wide open passes. We've seen basketball players miss open lane dunks. But if you're not going to make that shot, and then you're going to try to say something like, I don't know. I think we were the better team. No, you weren't. Because if you weren't, that shot's money. That was the best chance for Canada the whole time. And they couldn't cash it. Don't sit here and try to convince me, oh, well, we're the better team. No, none of that. You should make that shot. It was the best. I kid you not, out of all of the 42 shots that they had, that one was the best one, and it doesn't compare to any of the other ones. The best chance they had. And that was even like Hellwick made a great play. It was just McKinnon missing the shot. Like, if you pull that in Rocket League, you're getting hit with what a save. You're getting spammed what a save by your teammate. You're getting what a save spammed by the 2 or 3 guys you're playing against. Dog. Ugh. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. But it was still an incredible match overall for your boys, the United States of America. For Jack Hughes, he had an incredible Olympic run. I mean, the Hughes brothers in general, but specifically Jack getting the game winner after getting his teeth knocked out is something. It's poetic. It's not necessarily poetic justice, but it's just poetic in terms of the world of hockey and professional sports. Let me see. Marcus is in here. Hold on. Let me get a shout out to Marcus real quick. Let me get my round of applause for you. Welcome in, Marcus. Appreciate you for joining us. Appreciate you for joining us on a Monday evening. Mark's saying, too many men wish death upon me. And then Mark's also saying, R.I.P. Rondell Moore, men. If you're going through shit to someone, don't let it get that far. Yeah, that was so sad, man. I'm gonna to be 25. I think AJ Brown also spoke out about that too, about having those kind of thoughts at 23. Like, it's crazy. I mean, anybody. It's so tough because it sucks because the fact that we're in a world where some people genuinely do not feel comfortable talking about that. And it's like, you gotta, and that to me either means you either wasn't comfortable or there's weren't enough people like reaching out, you know? And I think what's crazy about this stuff too is, I think what a lot of people fail to consider or fail to realize really is that most people, when this stuff that they're going through, most people will never show this ever. Like, most people don't show those same emotions. And that's why it's important to, even if it seems like someone's doing well, or if you just, like, reach out to people, ask them how they're doing. It takes a minute. It takes a minute, man. It's good to reach out to people you care about. Okay? It's good to reach out to people you care about. And on top of the whole Rondell Moore thing, NFL players are speaking out about this too. I think Breeden Fehoko, who used to play, had like a long-winded discussion about, not like long-winded, but just had a long post to talk about it on, I guess, Twitter. It was calling out a lot of like general managers. It was calling out a lot of guys who don't really care about the players, right? I think it was a lot of stuff going on in that regard, but no one was really mentioning that. No one was really bringing that up. And it's like, dude, what, huh? Like, how is it that we're in this position now where I feel like, I mean, I get it. You have guys that are supposed to perform at a level, but dude, you have to give a crap about the players you're signing. And I think the fact of the matter is, a lot of these like owners, especially like at all levels of sports, not just the NFL. I think this exists in the NBA and the MLB. And I think it'll exist in all high levels of not just sports, but also major companies, is they just do not know anything about the people they employ. They don't know nearly anything about them, and especially owners, especially massive owners in the NFL. I don't think they know their players personally all that well. I'm not going to call out all of them, but I think there are definitely some who have no idea who the guys are in their locker room, no idea about their personal lives, no interest in finding out more about their personal lives, and this is one of the many symptoms of that problem. I mean, this one is incredibly tragic, and it's not the only one, which is scary. Like, there's more problems from this. But yeah, it's just, to be 25 years old with you, basically, I mean, you have got everything ahead of you at that point, and to see it go tragically like that is awful. It pisses me off. It makes me really frustrated that there is an entire league that just is going to is going to pull the same crap of acting like they care when they do not. They do not actively care enough to make this the issue that it is. Like, you had a 25-year-old dude in your own organization just commit suicide. And it's not going to get any more coverage outside of probably it'll be a dead story by Wednesday. Like, it's embarrassing. It is insane to me that that's even remotely possible. It's not like the only, I doubt it's the only time that this stuff like this has happened too. But this idea of this thoughts and prayers, it's a tragedy, this is awful, and then like no action to do anything about it, no action to try to prevent it in the future, just acknowledging it exists and then moving on. Like they have report cards. They have like NFLPA report cards. They do all this stuff to try to highlight. All they do when there's something bad is they will lampshade it. It's always been lampshaded. It happened with like the Jets. Like the Jets have awful like facilities. What did they do? They lampshaded it, and then the owner was like, I don't like these report card things. Dude, are you serious? Instead of taking any amount of criticism and trying to fix the problems that you have, you just want to get rid of the system that calls you out on your crap. And it sucks because like this is so many things. This is not just sports. This is so many different things that this is done. It happens all the time. Instead of fixing the problems you have, you would just rather, no, that system that criticizes me is bad and I don't like it. Dude, what? You sound like a buffoon. You sound like a jackass. You sound like a toddler. Like, there's so much that can be done to fix it, and I'm so upset that it will never get done. And if this were, and again, and you know what sucks? I hate to say it, but like in 4 more years, we're gonna hear like, and this is undoubtedly, this will not be the last time this happens, and I don't think the NFL is willing to take any sort of action on it outside of just saying that it happened. And it sucks. It sucks as someone who loves sports as much as they do, but the inability to not call this kind of stuff out and say, and like be willing to support this through and through for like players to reach out. And because, I mean, listen, the reality is with so much of sports, especially because so much of sports media is so critical all the time, hypercritical. New York media, man, they couldn't be happy if they tried, right? So much of sports media is on the emphasis of, we need to be harsh and critical of our athletes so they'll do better. Dude, that doesn't work if you're never praising them for playing well. Most athletes only get crap the majority of their lives. Like, even the good ones, even the ones that are great, they gotta keep doing this perpetual like nonsense where they have to keep proving the people that just say that they're garbage wrong. Like people who, what will like I'll say this, like give me an example, like let's go Lamar. Let's just use Lamar as like a bench test. Lamar Jackson, listen, he's my rival, but I mean he's my rival, act like I'm on the Steelers. But like as someone who is an individual who does struggle in the playoffs, but will never get any praise for anything else he does, he will only be labeled as, oh, he struggles in the playoffs. And he's a 2-time MVP. Then we look at like, imagine an athlete who really struggles, like Zach Wilson or like Jamarcus Russell. Like, what do you think Sam Darnold was thinking about in the years where he was struggling, right? And this inability to just, there's so many people want to instantly look to like criticize at any given turn. And it's the nature of sports media right now, and it's so awful. It's so awful, and yet it won't be called out. Like, it just never gets called out nearly enough. Like, it's ridiculous. Marcus saying the athletes just cattle to the front office. They ain't human. Real. It's legit trading livestock. Because it's not seen as they're not seen on the same level. They're not, and that's heavily emphasized because again, I don't think a lot of these owners know many of these players. Like, I don't think they do. I think, you know what they probably do? They may know, like, their best player. Like, they may know their quarterback. They may know their best wide receiver. But they don't know, like, the cornerback 3 on the roster. They don't know, like, the backup right tackle on the roster. Because, like, dude, I would think those owners would give more of a hoot about who's on their roster and, like, care. But they only care if it's, like, for example, when Cleveland went out and got Deshaun Watson, right? That's the only time when people would really care. People would be like, "Oh my gosh, Deshaun Watson on the roster." Like, that's if it has to do with a hit to their reputation or a hit to their organization and franchise or a hit to their company, that's when they'll care and they'll know who the person is. But if that person is giving them great things. But if the person's just doing their job and just being a normal person, no acknowledgement whatsoever. And the NFL is far from the only place to do it. So many other organizations do it, and it's it's I'm sorry, it's getting me hot and bothered. Now I'm just sad and angry because young dude just killed himself, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's just a tragedy. It's so sad." But like, that's not normal. That's not a normal thing to be happening. That's not something that should be happening, and everyone has to recognize that at a certain point. People have to get that's not okay. And it's like, and like big media companies are just gonna treat it that way. They're gonna treat it that way over and over again. They're just gonna they're gonna point it out that it happened and say that it's awful that it happened, and then do nothing to try to actually prevent it from happening in the future. Awesome. That's so great. I'm taking Roger Goodell's job. I have to for the good of humanity. The only way. It's the only thing I can do. I'm coming, Roger. I take job because there needs to be real change. I don't want to talk about the NFL right now. I'm moving on to the NBA. It's just gonna make me mad. I got NBA stuff to talk about after the USA beating Canada. But that was saying, I am happy that USA did win. That's what this started off as, and then got into the sad passing of Rondale Moore. And it makes me, I don't know. I gotta switch off, or else I'm gonna lose my marbles. But I want to talk NBA a little bit, at least in the meantime. So it's weird to switch topics like that, but I gotta stay honed in a little. For the NBA that I wanted to kind of transition into, we're getting into the second half of the season. There are going to be some particular favorites, obviously, out of the NBA. Of course, they're being... Man, I don't even really feel... And this, like, I know a lot of people have been, like, on the tanking stuff, which is kind of hard, because, like, I'm not trying to talk about the Jazz and, like, them throwing. But I do want to talk a little bit about the top contenders in the NBA. Unfortunately, not that they were a contender, but I am a little upset because my Phoenix Suns saw your boy Dylan Brooks leave with a broken hand. Having one of his best years, breaks his hand, and now we're down probably our best defender and one of our best scorers. We're still 2.5 games ahead of the Warriors for the play-in. I think we should be okay-ish if Jalen Green stops being glass man. Jalen Green, of course, constantly being glass man, because what other choice does he have? I mean, good Lord. I mean, sitting there in... I'm sorry. I know I just got off saying don't criticize the players, and now I'm criticizing Jalen Green. Jalen Green, you got to stay healthy, man. Get healthy, man. Stay a little healthier for me. It's been a rough... I think we've lost... It's either 6 or 7 games in the last 10, which is not good. It makes me upset. But looking at the overall... I mean, looking at the contenders... So, okay. There's 2 things. There's 2 major things that I need to get into about the major. Number one, looking at Boston right now. Let's talk Boston for a minute. The Boston Celtics may get Jason Tatum back come playoff time. And yet, they are arguably, they're right now, statistically, believe they are better defensively without him. They do miss him offensively, but when you're talking about a team in Boston that is so well structurally built, and with a superstar like Jason Tatum, who is still a superstar when fully healthy, who is, in my opinion, when out for a long time, is much easier to slot into this offense than I think other superstars would be traditionally if they were out for a long time and the team had to adjust to life without them. I think the Boston Celtics are going to be very scary in the East. I think overall, I think they right now tentatively are probably the favorite for the East, presuming Tatum is healthy. But I mean, really, it's those top four again, right? Like, I guess, yeah, Indiana made their run last year, but I got to be honest, I don't think any of the bottom of 5 through 10 really. I mean, if Charlotte somehow keeps staying as hot as they are, maybe they can be scary to, like, the Knicks. But I don't see them being able to do that to, like, Detroit or Boston. Maybe the Knicks, because I'm just a little rapscallion when it comes to the New York Knicks. But I do have an overall, to me, like an overwhelmingly, it feels like out of the East, it has to be Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, Cavs. Because I think the Cavs are interesting. I mean, they've definitely made their moves after getting James Harden. They've been 8-2 in their last 10. Toronto, fun, but doesn't feel like a real contender. Magic, mind-bogglingly frustrating. Heat and Hawks are just play-in junkies. And then you have the Hornets, who are hot, don't get me wrong, but there's no shot there really for a title. The question is, if I'm ranking the East, I think it's Celtics 1, Pistons 3. No, Celtics 1, Pistons would be second out of the East for me. Then Knicks, then Cavs. I still think the Cavs could quietly be the 1 seed, but I don't see the Pistons and Celtics both struggling that much down the stretch, especially with Cleveland being back almost 8 games. It's just I don't think Cleveland makes their way out of the East as the 1 seed. I just think it's too much to ask. And also, like, no disrespect to New York, but I mean, only the Houston Rockets, led by Kevin Durant, could blow that lead. Like, let's be honest here. I mean, it was gonna happen. It had to happen because the Kevin Durant files came out. We were kind of all in that tizzy about it. It was likely to happen in the first place. I can never listen. As much as it hurts to say, as someone who is from New York, I can never truly give the Knicks their credit because I never buy it. I don't buy it now because I think at the end of the day, as crazy as it is, despite the fact that they have a well-rounded roster with guys like Kat and OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, I'm going to tell you right now, there's only one guy on the entire roster that you trust the ball with late in the game. And to me, it's Brunson. I don't think if you told me right now any Knicks fan is picking any guy over Brunson, and then tell me how much more confident you feel in the other guys, it's like a massive downgrade. Now, granted, that might be true of a lot of teams, but tell me right now, you going to trust Mikal Bridges with a jump shot with like a minute, like an open jump shot with 1:15 to go? I don't, because every time I've seen him have that shot as a former Suns fan, he doesn't make it. He's a great defender. He's an amazing defender. But the problem is when you have a guy like Iron Man playing 82 games every single year, he's just not. He's going to have his struggles shooting the ball. And he has. He has as of late. He just hasn't been as good of a shooter as he was in years past. Like, so many times I see him brick an open shot, and I'm like, Mikal, I can't believe I miss you, man. I can't believe I miss this guy. I miss him so much. And yet, here we are. New York still's got a shot, but I think also, gosh, I mean, also, like, again, we saw what Detroit did to them, that has done to them this regular season too. And again, not that that matters because Boston was the same last year, but I mean, doesn't it though? I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter, but doesn't it though? As for the West, well, that's a good question. As for the West, honestly, for the West, I see two: Thunder and Spurs. I don't see like maybe that's I don't even think Minnesota, but like nobody. What's crazy is that as much stronger as the West is, it 100% peters out because it's a lot of teams that are generally better than the lower seeds, but still not contenders. Like, what's weird is that as much as I think people hype up the West as the better conference, and it's still true, it's not so good to the point. It's not like every team in there can win the conference, right? Like, yeah, the Rockets are the 4. Do we really buy into Houston, especially after what Kevin Durant's talking about with Alperen Sengun and Jabari Smith? Like, do we really buy that Kevin Durant is going to lead this Rockets team to a championship? Because I'm going to tell you right now, Kevin Durant never led anyone to a championship. He was just on a championship team. He went and joined the 73-9 Warriors to collect himself a couple of free rings. That's what he did. But in terms of leading a team anywhere, the closest he got was with the Thunder, and that roster was still stacked. Couldn't get it done there. Couldn't lead Brooklyn anywhere. Couldn't lead Phoenix anywhere. And I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't doubt it if Houston... Gosh, does Houston lose to the Lakers? Probably not. But I guess it really depends on who wins the first game. If the Lakers could go into Houston and get an upset win over the Rockets, then I think Lakers win the series. If the Rockets win at home, that'd be a best of 7. That'd actually be interesting right now, predicting these playoffs right now. Interesting. What would I be looking at? I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to start with the East. Let's see. Playing... I like Hornets beating the Hawks. I like Hornets beating Hawks. Magic Heat doesn't really matter. I guess I'll take Magic, and then I would take the Hornets. I would take Hornets over Heat because I'm feeling Charlotte, although they will get bounced in the first round. So I would have Magic being the 7 seed, going to Boston. Hornets make their way out as the 10 in the play-in. They get the 8. Detroit, I will say, beats the Hornets in 5. I think I don't see Cade and them losing that series. I think also because Cade, and I think the important thing for the Pistons, they got valuable playoff experience against the Knicks last year, and that was still like a 6-game series. Was close. It could have gone to 7, but Jalen Brunson just clutched up in the end. Celtics, Magic, that's also probably a 5-game series. It could maybe go 6, but I just think the Magic are too inconsistent and a little too frustrating for that series to go long. Knicks 76ers, that's probably Knicks in 6. I think the 76ers have enough talent in the guys of like VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey and even like if Joel Embiid is able to somehow go in that series, I think that would be probably a Knicks in 6, just because I think the 76ers are chippy, and I think in general teams are going to want to try to beat the Knicks. So I would probably say New York over Philly in 6. Cavs Raptors, honestly, I would say Cavs in like 5. I don't buy into Toronto. I mean, Toronto's a little scrappy, but I think with the way the Cavs are playing right now, by adding James Harden, I don't see a world in which the Raptors really take that series much farther. Then it'd be Pistons Cavs. I'll go Pistons in 7. I'll go Pistons in 7 only because you can make an argument that the roster is that they don't have as much. Gosh, but they're very similar. And like how much talent they have. Donovan Mitchell could go. No, I'm gonna take the Pistons in 6, not 7. I'll say 6. I'll give Cavs because like honestly, the problem is with like Donovan Mitchell. Ever since he's gotten off Utah, the Cavs are just kind of disappointed. Like they just haven't lived up to what they should be. And I'm willing to bet that also happens this year. So I'll take the Pistons over the Cavs. Then Celtics, Knicks. Ooh, it really does depend on if Jason Tatum goes and then how healthy he is. I would still argue, though, it's the Celtics in 7. I would take the Celtics in 7. 100%. Because I'm going to say I don't see I don't see a world in which, I mean, obviously it happened last year, but here's the thing. A lot had to go right for them to do that last year, right? Like, they needed to come back from 2 crazy deficits. And as good as New York is, like, Boston's going to consider that, right? Like, I don't think Boston loses another series to New York in this year. I would go with the Celtics. And then Pistons, Celtics. I'll take Celtics in 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Presuming, again, Tatum's healthy, but I think the Celtics with a more experienced roster, and I think low-key a slightly more talented roster, probably win and would win the East. As much as I don't like it, I'm not even a big Celtics guy, but that's what I don't see. Detroit could obviously win that 7th game, right? Like, Detroit could just cruise through the playoffs, but how much better are they than the rest of the East? I just don't think they're that much better. They're better. Not that much better, though, so that's kind of the issue there. Jay is here. Jay's made in. Welcome in, Jay. Give you a little bit of a round of applause there for making it. Saying, damn late to the party. Had to do my first feminine product run for my daughter. It's like any respectable man, I had to buy 2 cases of Gatorade, some garbage bags, some beef jerky, because, don't want the 16-year-old cashier judging me. You know what? Honestly, though, Jay, you can buy tampons. You can buy tampons and pads. You're a grown man. You're a grown man. What do you mean? I don't give no hoot about what no cashier says, man. I don't give no hoots. I don't give a single one. I'm a buy as many feminine products as I want. I'm gonna buy it all. But no, yeah, that's good on you, man. Gotta make feminine product run. I respect it. I respect it, my good man. But no, well, welcome in, Jay. Appreciate you for pulling out. Just talking about the NBA standings. I hate saying it's the Celtics because I despise Boston sports, but it's still very much possible, right? There is a very slight potential opportunity. I don't see it. I don't see anyone else really coming out. I mean, listen, I know everyone wants to hype up New York, and I get it. I just don't. You had people forget how much the Knicks had go right for them in that series. Like, I know they got trounced by the Indiana Pacers out of nowhere, but even against Boston, Boston generally had them in the regular season, and I still think in a rematch, I think Boston does have the edge, especially if Tatum plays. Because again, they're not going to go in. They're not going in with the same mentality. They're not doing the same disrespect they had to the Knicks last time, right? And I don't even think people would necessarily be favoring Boston anyway. I think going in, the picks would be probably New York. That would be my guess, based on what happened last year. And then in the West, let's see. Where are we looking at play-in? Let's start with play-in. Trailblazers, Clippers. Give me the Trailblazers. Clippers have kind of cooled off a little bit. I think Portland's a little underrated. I will take them. Suns will beat Warriors, and I think Blazers will also beat Warriors. I would put the Blazers at the 8. Because, listen, right now, the Warriors are not the same team. Steph's not fully healthy. Draymond's not fully healthy. You have no Jimmy Butler. The Kuminga experiment fails. Golden State, I don't think, is winning is making the playoffs this year. I just don't. And I don't think, based on the issue that they've created for themselves, I just don't see them really having that chance. I just don't know. So that would be right now. So my plan would be the Suns would get the 7, and then the Blazers would get the 8, and that's how that would go. Jay also saying, if the Celtics win it, and let's say Tatum comes back, but it is all Jalen, does Jalen look for a pay raise? Does it cause a rift where one got to go because of money? Interesting. I'm gonna say no, because I think the reality is Jalen might ask. I don't think it would cause one of those stars to leave. Because I think really, where are you? Because let's say, okay, so they would move Jay. But the question is then, who do you move? Who's the guy that you would move there? I think if anything, you move Derek White. Like, that's what I would do. Because remember, they gave that contract to Derek White. I would move him before I move either of those two. Because I think you can easily replace your 3. I would rather just keep your big 2. Like, that's the thing. Big 3s are usually not great. Because, I mean, like, not that Derek White's bad, but Derek White hasn't necessarily been on the same level of player. And part of the reason he hasn't been the same level of offensive player is because there's no Jason Tatum. Like, you kind of need Tatum offensively. Like, they're not struggling defensively. Defensively is not their problem. I just don't think anybody offensively on that team is as good as Jason Tatum, even Jaylen Brown. Like, he's been a while now, but when Tatum's on point, he's, like, this was never a discussion. Like, remember, there was never really, I mean, even when Jaylen Brown won, like, Finals MVP, there was not really a discussion on who was better. It's still pretty clear that Tatum's still that guy, and I think it's so much important to have them there offensively. But I mean, listen, it is what it is. Marcel saying I didn't think of that. It is Jalen's team right now. That's a GM thought right there. Do you have to pay more to Jalen? Does Tatum become expendable? Here's where I just don't think Tatum is. Well, here's the thing. It'll depend on if he's healthy, right? Because we don't even, like, let me look up timetable. Jason Tatum injury timetable. Because I've seen reports that he's getting healthier and he's there. But, like, maybe March. Apparently, people are saying March is a possibility that he plays in March. So, and they're saying that's apparently realistic. Early as March 2026. Reports indicate he might sit out. Well, he's not going to do that, though. He apparently was playing in 5-on-5 scrimmages in rehab, but there's no firm return date. If he returns from March, and I think it really depends how much better Boston looks. Because if Boston looks worse, then you can maybe have that discussion. But if they look better and seamless, and Jason Tatum plays well, I don't know how much you can really. What's Celtics contract situation? Let's see. I'm interested to see what their cap table looks like over the next several years. Because then you could start to have a conversation. As good as Jaylen Brown has been, I think it's very hard to. And even if Jaylen Brown gets a pay raise, I don't think it detracts from the ability to be able to create the rest of the roster. And plus, like, Jaylen Brown's still getting paid. Like, Jaylen Brown's still getting Tatum money. Right? Like, it's not like he's getting underpaid either. Like, they make, this year, he's just making, like, only $1 million shy less of Tatum. Like, Tatum's making that same amount despite being hurt. So, I mean, he takes up 34.4% of their cap. Tatum takes up 35%. I would personally want, I mean, yeah. And Derek White, by comparison, Derek White takes up 28%. So I don't think they move him because even if he asks for bigger pay, how much more can he reasonably ask for? Like, you can realistically pay him slightly more than Tatum. But, I mean, let's not forget how good Tatum is, right? And that's what Tatum's making. So, I mean, it's possible. I could definitely see a move where maybe Brown does want to make more money. But at the same time, I don't think... a couple things, I don't think that's a request he just immediately makes off the jump. Because if he were to make that kind of request, Boston would have to essentially win a championship. Again, with Jaylen Brown doing what he did again. That's what would really have to happen. Right? Like, Jaylen Brown and the Celtics would need to win a championship, and Tatum just doesn't look like the same guy, and Jaylen Brown would do that. That's what would have to happen. Do I think it happens? Probably not. I mean, maybe I get it. Boston's really good, but at the same time, I think part of the reason they could go on that run is presuming Tatum's fully healthy and can keep the offense up there. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're getting... And they'll still have Browns under contract through the next 3 years. I just... Through the next 3 years, even after this season. And I think that's... I mean, why don't you just color... Oh, yeah. And then there's this... Well, no. He's under contract till the 2027-2028 year, and then he's got his player option. So... And, I mean... Oh, no, that's Derek White. I'm reading that wrong. My bad. I mean, he's not... Again, Tatum's getting paid... He might get a pay raise, but even then, at that point, then you're just saying Jaylen Brown's your best player, and you just... Like, I don't think it's as big of a deal. You just say, okay, Jaylen Brown is better than we thought. We'll pay him equal to or slightly above what Tatum's getting paid, and then figure it out from there. But I don't think it's a significant enough pay raise where it causes Boston to move one or the other. I just don't. I don't see that as the likelihood, in my opinion. That could obviously very much change. Also saying the fans love D White. True. I know a lot of the fans love D White, but I believe maybe I mean, I've been watching games, but I haven't been necessarily tracking all stats. So I'm just gonna have to. Why did I just? I looked up. I looked up ESPN stats. Like that was just gonna get me right to Derek White. Like I was like, all right, yep. Let's just know what I'm thinking, please. I mean, yeah, it's still a good year. It is technically slightly better, but I think his efficiency is way down. Like, yeah, his efficiency comparisons to like his 3-point shooting percentage is his lowest since 2021. So it's part of that. Now, part of that's probably because Tatum's not there, and now White commands a little bit more respect from offenses because now he's option 2 as opposed to like option 3. But you know, it does kind of matter if that was the game plan. And I mean, I don't know. What Jaylen Brown's doing is very impressive. Don't get me wrong. I just think at a certain point there's going to be. I don't think that causes that big of a rift. It would just lead to a slight pay increase for Brown, and then I presume Tatum would roughly stay the same. I don't think either of those guys have big ego issues. Now, I haven't really seen much. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Tatum's like secretly like a bad guy, but I just don't see them. That causing a huge rift there for the Celtics. And even if it did, I think Boston's one of the few teams that would actually be able to figure something out. Like they even figured the stuff out after the Kyrie stuff was mishandled or just kind of fell off. Or not fell off, but more of like was like a falling out. So I think they'd be fine either way. Let's see. All right, that was NBA. Oh, shoot, I got to still pick my West. I got to get back into the West. I haven't picked the West. So, Thunder, Trailblazers, that's Thunder 5. Maybe Thunder 4, honestly, if they're fully healthy. Like, I get it, but I would probably say Thunder there. Spurs, Suns, that's Spurs 5. It really depends on Dylan Brooks should be healthy by then. 4 to 6 weeks is how long he's out with the broken hand. So, presumably, they'll have Dylan Brooks for that series. It could be, it could stretch into 6 very quietly. But I think that's only if, somehow Wemby were to miss a game. As good as my Suns have been, I cannot just say they're going to beat the Spurs because they probably aren't. Spurs would probably win that fairly convincingly. Nuggets Timberwolves gets interesting because, again, the reason a couple years ago why the Timberwolves were in the Western Conference Finals because they beat the Nuggets. Not only they beat the Nuggets, they were built to beat the Nuggets. And you could argue that they were built to beat the Nuggets that way. They're not really built that way anymore. They're not really built the same way as they were because now they don't have Cat. So it's a little different to see what they'd be doing there. I would say, it's tough, especially with how well Jamal Murray's playing. I'm going to say Nuggets in 7. I think that's actually a rather close series. That's a really close one. I'm going to say Nuggets in 7 just because of what Jamal Murray's been doing this year, especially stepping up in a big way. I know how good Ant and the Timberwolves have been, but I'm going to lean the Nuggets. And then Rockets, Lakers, that would depend on who wins game 1. And I think if the Lakers win game, basically I think whoever wins game 1 wins the series. That would be my take. Because I think the Rockets would have enough momentum based on that first win to get them through, and the Lakers would get a huge upset win, which would probably cover for a loss they would probably get at home otherwise, and then just have to go in and probably game 6 or 7 and win. I would take the Lakers. I'm going to take the Lakers in 6, actually. Not because I think they're a great championship team. I just think at the end of the day, there's too much offensive firepower with someone like Luka in there. I think Luka would find a way to just beat the Rockets, which honestly I would find kind of funny personally. As someone who is, a Luka denier, a hater, I don't know, whatever, a Luka hater. Then it would be I gotta think. So then Lakers would play Thunder, I presume. That's probably also Thunder in 5. The Lakers don't have enough defense, and if the Thunder are fully healthy, there's just no amount of scoring Luka can do to get them by there. I think the Thunder would win that, and then I would have Spurs over Nuggets, probably in 6, and then I honestly have Spurs in 7. I have Spurs in 7 over the Thunder, just because I think the exhaustion of trying to win the championship. I mean, there's a really good chance Thunder don't even make it out of the second round. If they were to play the Rockets, there's a chance the Rockets would be able to win that. But since I have them playing the Lakers, I don't think they lose to the Lakers. So it'd probably be Spurs Thunder. I would take Wemby and them to down the Thunder. And then it's Spurs Celtics in the finals that I would have. Spurs Celtics. Good Lord. Again, I guess it's really Tatum health dependent. But I'm gonna say the Spurs, and I'm just gonna say the Spurs in 7, just because I like a competitive series. Like basically, I would always prefer the finals to be a 7-game series. So, why not the 2 seeds, Spurs Celtics? I don't like the fact that the Celtics are there, but I love the fact that do I like the fact that Spurs? Nah, I do. Wemby's fun. Watching Wemby make crazy plays in the finals would be entertaining and exciting. Let's go. Get Wemby in there. Come on. What are we doing? Marcus saying would be weird if this was China and his name there would be White D. Oh, dude, that's an awesome. That you'd have to get that jersey. You have to get that jersey if Derek White ever plays in China. You'd have to get that jersey. And then Jay saying, "What the hell is Scoot Henderson doing this year? Dude's been a bust so far." Dude, I don't even know. Let me find out. Probably not much. I'm surprised Portland. I mean, it's really Denny Avdija, right? I mean, technically, he's been slightly worse. Free throw percentage is up. I mean, outside of that, no, not a whole lot. How many games has he played? He even played the full season? Like, has he played like? How many games has he played? Has he only played 6 games this year? No, you're lying. You're lying. He's not played only 6 games. Is that true? What? He's played 6 games. That's ridiculous. This is not okay. I think that's that's versus Minnesota. No, I'm tripping. Stats in regular season. Why can't you just show me his stats for the full year? Yeah, come on, dude. Like, no, alright, game log. Jesus. Oh yeah, it's legit 6 games. Wow, that's crazy. That's no joke. No, he's only played. I mean, he's just not been him. He hasn't even been healthy. He hasn't been playing. He's either not gotten minutes or he just has not been healthy. Has he been hurt? Does anybody even? No one even knows. He just started playing in February. I'm gonna see if there was an injury, but I mean, he hasn't. Yeah, he's been out with that hamstring. I didn't even know that. I'm behind the 8 ball. Yeah, he was out with a left hamstring, and I mean, I guess it's tough to be coming back from that hamstring and be good. I mean, he hasn't been terrible, but I mean, for the number 3 overall pick from 3 years ago, you'd like to be a little better than that, no? Especially if you're Portland and you're a bad team. I was also thinking about this for teams that are bad, right? And I saw Rachel. I think her name was Rachel Wilson. She was on the Herd recently talking about it, about how tanking at this point is way more than just like the problem with tanking right now is that it's not the problem. It's just a symptom of a larger issue, and that NBA teams can't get good. Like, it's hard for them to get good now. So they have to tank, and there's just not enough better options. So how do you solve teams being bad, right? Like, how do you solve teams that are struggling and not being able to, like, how do I gotta collect my words. I gotta collect my thoughts. The way this works then is that teams cannot physically get better right now. They cannot physically find a way to get better. They believe the only way they can get better is tanking. There are not enough ways for teams to get better. So the way you fix that, apparently right now, the best way to fix that is to make it easier for other teams, which is crazy. But I mean, It's not even that crazy. It's just like, where do you go to make it easier for teams to get better, right? And I wouldn't have the answers off the top of my head. I'd have to like give it some thought, but there's got to be a easier way to give teams that are at the bottom more opportunities to get better. The only way you could probably do that, I guess, is restrict other teams from just stacking up picks, but I have no idea. That's an answer for probably next episode that I might have. Marcus says, I remember at one time they had him going number 2 behind Wemby. Who went? Oh my gosh, wait. Who went 3? Yeah, it was Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller went 3. I wonder what an NBA redraft of this looks like. Let me actually look that up. 2023 NBA redraft. I'm gonna do this, and then I got 2 NFL things to get into before we clock out. Let's see. Obviously, Wemby still goes 1. Amen would go 2. That makes sense. Keontae George 3. Then honestly, I wonder how far does Scoot fall. Brandon goes 4. Oscar Thompson 5. Tumani Kamara 6. Derek Lively 7. And Scoot falls to 8. That's a tough one. That's a tough one for Scoot. Hopefully, it doesn't fall down any further. I hope he gets up. Kind of funny, Grady Dick having a better career than him. Remember when? Oh man, remember when Grady Dick and Anthony Black swapped jerseys? Y'all remember that? That was funny. They should do that every time. They should genuinely do that every time they play. I think they only did it once, but they should do it every time. Grady Dick and Anthony Black, just swap jerseys, man. Just do it. It may not have been Anthony Black. It may have been someone else, but I want to say it was Anthony Black. May have been a different guy with last name Black, but I would assumed it was them because it's the same draft class. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Who knows? All right. I got some NFL things to get into. First one, this one kind of dates back to a while ago when I heard about this, but I want to mention it. Kenneth Walker, right now, is talked about being franchise tagged. And I believe Falcons have actually tagged Kyle Pitts as a tight end, which was a crazy good move. But the main thing was Kenneth Walker is potentially going to be franchise tagged by the Seattle Seahawks. He does not want to be franchise tagged. He has mentioned that multiple times, that he would not play under it. And the question is, well, do you keep the guy who was the Super Bowl MVP? What does Seattle do? So, and a lot of people will say, well, Kenneth Walker won the Seahawks Super Bowl. Look at what the Eagles did with Saquon. The Eagles went out and got Saquon. It's important to have a good running back. And that's a superstition. It's not important that you have a great running back. It's important that you are able to run the football. Like, all of the teams that have won championships at some level can run the football because they're able to control the clock. The problem with paying Kenneth Walker, even if you think he's a top 10 running back, which I think a lot of people think that right now, and I would say that it's true. The issue is, when you look at the amount of usage they gave to Kenneth Walker, like if I go Kenneth Walker stats, if I put up Kenneth Walker stats right now, in 2025, he had his highest carry total at 221 yards. He had 1,027 touchdowns, 5 TDs. That is regular season. If I show you now someone like his teammate Zach Charbonnet getting 184 carries, 730 yards, and 12 TDs. Now, obviously, Charbonnet's a TD merchant. That's mostly what that shows. But the important thing to show there is that despite Kenneth Walker having a career high in touches, he only had like 40 more than Zach, which is not a whole lot. Like, that's maybe 1-2 games. Maybe 1 or 2 like decent usage games. So the question really is, and I mean, in terms of catches, he only had like 11 more catches. 31 catches for Kenneth, 20 for Zach. So the question is, if you're Seattle, why would you pay Kenneth Walker top 10 running back money when he barely even gets like 60% of the touches out of the backfield? Like, very clearly they have a two-headed tandem. It just doesn't make sense to overpay for Kenneth Walker. If Kenneth doesn't want to play on a franchise tag, yes, that's a... Oh my gosh, I'm getting messages right now. These guys need to shut up. But like, if you're Kenneth, I get it. You want to get paid. But if you're Seattle, does it really make sense? You already have another running back that uses so many touches. Like, what's the angle? What's the dealio? It doesn't really make sense. I don't think Seattle pays him. I think it's more likely Kenneth's a free agent and someone gives him a decent contract. And I think he'll be good. Like, I don't think he'll be bad. But I also think someone may overpay for him and not get the same amount of production. It's just, I don't see an incentive for the Seahawks to go out and pay the Super Bowl MVP when they don't use him like a heavy workhorse back. They just don't. So why are you paying him like he's a heavy workhorse back? You didn't use him as one. If you think he is, and I'm sure there's a team that will think that he is or believes that he is and wants to do that, and it may work, it may not. But Seattle doesn't believe that because they didn't believe it this past year. So why are they all of a sudden going to believe it now because of, like maybe one small stretch, right? And if they do, then that means they'll pay him. If they don't, then they'll let him walk. That's what's going to be what happens. I think he's probably going to walk. In terms of where I'd like to see him go now is an interesting question. Because, low-key, teams that really, I'm thinking, need backs, like, I think the Saints are an interesting option to try to, because, you got to move off of Kamara at some point. And I think if you want to use Walker as like a dual threat with Kamara, if Kamara's still somehow swinging, then sure, that's an option. Does Kansas City try to get something better out of the backfield? I don't think so because Walker doesn't really have the hands for it. Maybe someone in the AFC North. Like, if I was anybody in the AFC North, Kenneth Walker's a physical bruising runner. I think any one of those four teams, maybe not Baltimore, obviously, with Derrick Henry, but I could see like Cleveland or Pittsburgh considering it. I don't think Pittsburgh would just because they're a little stacked. But like Cleveland, if Quinshon Judkins isn't fully healthy, ready to go, why not get Walker potentially as an option? If not, then who could really use a good running back is the Titans. I don't think Tony. Especially because Kenneth Walker's either going to do one of two things. I think personally what it's going to happen is that since he has the ring, he's probably going to take a big contract on a team that needs a running back badly and is missing a lot of positions. So Tennessee, I think, is a very reasonable option. I wouldn't doubt it. Or maybe Washington. Maybe Washington is comfortable paying him. But I think ultimately that's where he's going to end up. He's going to end up on a bad team in need of a running back where he can get paid and then contribute to trying to build a winning culture there. That would be my guess if he does depart Seattle and Seattle decides to not tag him, which I don't think they will do based on what he has said, or choose to not pay him based on the usage that he got the majority of the regular season. That's my analysis. It's my analysis of good old Kenny Walker. The other guy I want to talk about, who's actually more of a veteran than Walker, is Mike Evans. So now Mike Evans is he's going to return for 2026, and he has stated that he wants to test the free agent waters. Mike is very different in this case. Mike has won a championship, but I don't think Mike, in this point in his career, especially coming off an injury, is chasing a lot of money. And I don't think teams are going to be right there up around to pay him a lot of money. Don't think it makes sense. He's an older guy, he's coming off an injury, he's already won a chip. Somebody's going to get him as a chip, and obviously a lot of the teams I've seen, I think, are like Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City. I think Houston was on there. I'd forget who the fifth team was, but those are like the main four. Those four were the main ones. To me, I think there's a very clear answer that I think works really well. It's Houston. Not because I think CJ Stroud's a good quarterback. He's not. He struggled last year. But what we saw in the divisional round specifically, not having Nico Collins was detrimental to the Texans offense. So detrimental, right? And they have some guys that can catch passes, but without another proven guy on the other side, it was disastrous. I think the Texans stand to benefit the most by adding Mike Evans. I also think the Bills do in a way because they didn't have a wide receiver one, basically like a legit wide receiver one all year. And I don't know if Mike Evans would be that at this point in his career. I'd much rather have him as a solid wide receiver too. But Buffalo's so desperate for wide receiver help, I would imagine they make him an offer. Baltimore likes to do this as well, going after those kind of old, very good receivers that just aren't the same anymore. They did it with DeAndre Hopkins. I could see them throwing it with Mike Evans, although at this point in his career, I think Mike Evans is still very good as opposed to where Hop was this past year. So that's an option as well. Do I think he goes in division was something that someone asked me. What would be hilarious, low-key, is if he goes to the Saints because he was always beefing with Marshawn Lattimore, or Washington somehow, so he can just beef with Lattimore more. Although I don't think they're gonna keep him. I don't even know if he's under contract right now. That would just be like a funny little bit to have just Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore on the same team. Just a thought. I think Mike's 100% going to go to a contender. Maybe even if they decide to move A.J. Brown, I wouldn't doubt it if Philly tries to make an offer after, which I presume they're going to move him at some point. I imagine that's an option. But I think Houston it makes a lot of sense. I mean, pair him alongside Nico Collins. He'll probably have to change out of his 13, which no, Nico wears 12. Now, wait, am I having a Mandela effect? Nico wears 12, right? Is it 12 or 13? Dang it, I'm so mad. I don't know this. I should know this, and I don't. It's 12. I'm going to say final answer, it's 12. Before I Google it, final answer is 12. It is 12. Okay, so he doesn't have to change the number. He can keep 13. But, I don't know. I think at the end, I think that's probably the team that stands to benefit the most from having Mike. That maybe Buffalo. I know Kansas City was thrown out there. But I don't know. I'm willing to bet that Kansas City still believes they have something in Xavier Worthy. And so they won't. They do need to go after wide receiver. And I think they will. I just don't think they'll go after Mike specifically. And I mean, again, there will still be a lot of cuts in this free agency class. So I imagine that all of the free agents that are currently available, there will likely still be more. Like if we're looking at 2026 free agency. Pulling that up now. I mean, yeah, obviously Tyreek being available. I think that's who they're going to pursue first before they talk to Mike. Then if we're looking at other wide receivers, you know what? They may have to really try for either Tyreek or Mike. And the main reason I'm looking at these wide receivers, none of them are particularly interesting. Like Christian Kirk, Debo, De'Ami Brown. Like, guys, it's just not a deep wide receiver class. I mean, there is Alec Pierce, but that feels like an overpay no matter who goes out and gets him. Just wondering what the... And then also there was talk about Daniel Jones getting a contract with Indy. I don't know what Indianapolis is going to do. I understand they want to try to do a multi-year deal with Daniel, try to get him on like a Sam Darnold-esque contract. The problem with that is I really do believe that to do it with Sam is one thing. To do it with Daniel Jones when he's coming off of an injury is a little bit more concerning, especially for a Colts team that collapsed. Like maybe they think he's that important because they collapsed basically after he went down. But I mean, their offense wasn't the worst. It was just Phillip Rivers just turned the ball over too much, which is just, I mean, what do you expect, you know? But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting free agent class for sure. Oh my gosh, the running back market is maybe it's not. It's not dead. It's not that dead. Travis Etienne should be interesting. Rico Dowdle will be out there. Breece Hall will be out there. Kenneth Walker could be out there. Why don't I see Walker here? Yeah, he is out there. Dang. I didn't realize how little money Kenneth Walker makes. So never mind. The running back market is going to be better better than I thought. But Wandale is also going to be interesting. Oh gosh, are the Giants going to pay Wandale Robinson? That's a question for next time. Let's just go all positions. And Trayvon Diggs. Oh my gosh, it's going to be an interesting offseason. There's a lot of... And then these aren't even all the names. Like, there's still potentially more names that'll be up there. Travis Kelce being a free agent. Who wants Taylor Swift to be rooting for their NFL team? You can sign Travis Kelce. You can get so many more fans of your team. That's actually a crazy power play. Could you imagine Travis Kelce becomes a free agent and he only gets signed because of who his girlfriend is? Could you imagine, like, hey, Travis, we really want you on the team, but you're not going to be starting. We kind of just want the publicity from your girlfriend. Just a thought. Anyway, that is all I have. That is all I have for today. A big Monday. I think I finally got shorts. I figured out how to get shorts working officially now, so it should never have a problem unless it does, which of course it will because that's how my life is. This thing was, I won't even tell you right now. Like starting today, everything was not working 20 minutes before the stream started. So, but we got it all working, so thank God. I thought it was a good stream. Very good stream. I saw some of the shorts numbers, I guess because hockey was recent, but it got us almost up to like 14, 15 active people. Like, man. That's kind of cool, though. Dude, apparently people click on stuff that says Olympics, so I guess I gotta keep that in mind. Oh my gosh. Jay also says, imagine the Giants not paying Saquon, but paying Robinson. Wow. Look, man, Wandale put together a career year. You gotta have that credit. Goob, of course, with his face orange biting nails. Do I even see that over here? I don't. Whatever. I don't even know, man. I can't even read. I can never read your emojis, Goob. I can never read them. And then Jay also saying that they had gotten fined for that. Yeah, but that's lame. They shouldn't be fined. That's amazing. Everyone thinks that's hilarious. Everyone from kids in elementary school to the grandfathers on their rocking chairs. That's just funny. It's just a funny joke. Funny little jersey swap that they had. But anyways, that's all I had for this episode. If you enjoyed, I appreciate it if you drop a like on it. Yeah, if you like the episode, just drop a like. If you like what you see and you're new, then you should subscribe. And because I do this every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I'm still working on trying to figure out something to do on the weekends, but man, I love enjoying my weekends. But we'll see what we end up doing there. But I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, for checking out the stream, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. That's all I have for you. Enjoy your night. I'm going to go eat dinner. Have a blessed evening, ladies and gentlemen.